Hello students, welcome to CMS online classes, and this video is for class 8, chapter number 15, and the name of the chapter is Some Natural Phenomena. So in our previous videos we talked about transfer of charge. Okay, that means the charge particles. Then we talked about lightning conductors or things. Okay, then what precaution measures should we take when lightning strikes? Then we talked about earthquakes, okay, which is a natural phenomena. Now in this session we will be talking about natural phenomena like volcanoes, okay, tsunamis. So let's start with tsunamis. So as we all, tsunamis mostly occur due to undersea nuclear explosions, undersea earthquakes, okay, and due to this, what happens, the water in the sea or in the ocean, they get disturbed, and slowly the waves keep on rising. That means sea waves, also known as tidal waves, and it can strike at the coast of the sea. Okay, that means mostly we can say the beaches. Okay, as for example we have Sri Lanka. We can take an example of Sri Lanka, Thailand, then on the peninsula of India. Okay, it can be Andhra Pradesh, Tamil Nadu, okay, even West Bengal. Okay, at these places tsunami can strike. Okay, so here we have a few photographs of tsunami that occurred in 2004 in the Indian Ocean, and this causes much more damage. Okay, so what do you mean by tsunami? Actually, tsunami is a Japanese word, means harbor. Harbor is called su in Japanese, and wave in Japanese, wave is called nami. So by adding these two words tsunami, okay, we called it a tsunami, and it is a tidal wave. Tidal wave means the waves that rises on the due to tidal, okay, tides. So in recent years this term has fallen out of favor, especially in scientific community. Actually we come to know about tsunami in the year 2004 because it causes much more damage and destruction at that time. Previously this word was not known. Okay, tsunami actually have nothing to do with tides. That means it is not related to tides. Tides, as we know, mostly tides occurs with respect to the moon, that is full moon and the no moon. Okay, but we call it a wave, tidal wave, because it acts as a wave, and if it keep on increasing towards the coast. So tsunamis and tides both produce waves of water that move inland, means in the land. But in the case of tsunami, the inland movement of water is much greater with respect to tides. In tides, only a small proportion is the level of the water increases, whereas in tsunami it is quick and the wave of the water is much more higher. Okay, then let's talk about how it causes. So as we were introducing about tsunami, it is mostly generated by underwater earthquakes, or we can say nuclear explosion in the water or in the sea. Okay, and a tsunami can be generated when convergent or destructive plate boundaries abruptly move and vertically displace the overlying water. As we know that in below the water we have a plate. That means the layer of the earth has some plates, and that keeps on moving, as we discussed in the terms of earthquakes. Same thing happens here also, but here instead of the epicenter, sorry, in earthquakes the epicenter is on the land, okay, whereas in tsunami the epicenter is water body, and due to some sudden or disturbance, the water waves can rise. Okay, so this is because constructive or conservative boundaries do not generally disturb the vertical displacement of the water. Okay. Subduction zone related earthquakes generate the majority of tsunami. Then we can say that tsunami is nothing but the outcome of the earthquakes. Okay, but it is also a natural phenomena. Why it is regarded as a natural phenomena? Because as it is also unpredictable. That means when it comes, we can't figure out at what time or at what speed or of what wavelength of the waves, okay, wave of the water. So let's move to more explanation. So most tsunamis are caused by submarine earthquakes which dislocate the oceanic crust, pushing water upwards, as we can see in the figure. Tsunamis can also be generated by eruption submarine volcanoes ejecting magma into the ocean. That means it can also cause due to volcanoes, which is under the sea. A gas bubbles erupt in a deep part of the ocean can also trigger a tsunami. Gas bubbles, it can be natural gas which is located inside the or under the earth crust. Okay, so these all can cause tsunamis. Okay, so earthquake generates tsunami. What do you mean by earthquake generated tsunami? An earthquake may generate a tsunami if the quake occurs just below the body of water. That means the earthquake which occurs inside the water is of moderate or high magnitude. That means if it is of low magnitude, that means if it is below 4 or below 3, then tsunami is not generated. But if it is of moderate and high, that means above 5 or above 6, then tsunami can occur. Displace a large enough volume of water. Okay, that means the water get disturbed, and due to that many aquatic animals, even the natural gas that we get from the ocean, okay, those institutions get damaged. Even houses or buildings near the ocean, that means on the beach, may get affected. Okay, so let's talk about 2004 Indian Ocean tsunamis, and it was a very disastrous at that time. So the 2004 Indian Ocean tsunami killed over 2 lakh peoples, with many bodies either being lost to the sea or unidentified. According to an article in Geographical magazine, the Indian Ocean tsunami of December 26, 2004 was not the worst that the region could expect. Okay, that means this was not only the greatest disaster of tsunami. Okay, in Madagascar, Singapore, Somalia, West Australia get affected, and it is only a prediction. That means more disastrous tsunami can occur in near future. Okay, but as far as the study is concerned, this was also a major disaster where properties has been destroyed and almost 2 lakh people were killed. Okay. Then we will move to few clips or few photographs where we can see the height of the waves. Okay, height of the waves. Just see here. So we can simply say that at such a great height and with speed, what was the effect? Okay, what was the disastrous effect? Okay, so tsunamis can be very dangerous and deadly, as we do not have the power to control or predict and detect tsunamis. So as already discussed, that's why we have included this in a natural phenomena. We can't control or predict the tsunami. Because they are underwater waves, that becomes even more dangerous and deadly and make them even more difficult to escape in a short span of time. As for example, if there is a tsunami, think a tsunami of 2004 itself. So those people who were residing at the coastal areas, they were not able to run. They couldn't run very far. Okay, so that's why the damage was more. Tsunamis can damage a lot of property and life and usually leave a panic for the human basic necessities. So they are not a thing to be taken lightly. That means basic necessities. What do you mean by basic necessities? Basic necessities means shelter and food. Okay, due to sudden disaster, okay, food get affected, even shelters also get affected, and there is more chances of diseases. Okay, many more diseases. So they can't be taken lightly. We have to follow some precautionary measures. That means we should build the buildings or the homes, okay, that can face such a speed of waves. Okay, so this is all about tsunamis. Now let's move to another part, that is volcanoes. So it is also, volcanoes are also some natural phenomena. It is not man-made, but the thing is that we can predict, or we can say that when volcanoes will erupt. Okay, because it's not sudden, it takes time. Okay, but before that some measures should be taken. That means those people who are residing near the volcano area, they can be removed and settled in a safer place. Okay, so we will talk a few important things about. So what is volcanism or volcano? So when hot and molten magma escapes from the earth core, okay, we call that process a volcano. That means what we can say, as we know that at the core of the earth there is a hot gases, okay, and that can act as a liquid form, and if a vent or there is a opening, okay, volcano can erupt. And it can be on land also, and it can be on water also. So if it is on land, it can damage many wildlife or forested areas, and if it is in water, as we discussed, it can cause tsunamis also. Okay, so types of volcano or volcanism. So underwater volcanism. Underwater volcanism or volcano take place at the constructive plate boundary on the ocean floor. That means both volcano and earthquakes, they form at the constructive plate boundary. That means if there is a opening or hole, from that point only the lava will come out. So at these boundaries, oceanic plates that diverge leaves a gap between the plates from where magma from the mantle comes to the surface. Okay, that means what I discussed. That means the interior of the earth, there is a magma. Okay, and when the opening is when there is an opening, it will oozes out, it will come out. Okay, so that is was underwater volcanism. Then we have volcanism at destructive plate boundaries. That means in the land. Okay, so same thing happens in the land also. Okay, so there is a magma. Okay, and if the opening is there, it will come out, but it will show some sign. That means first of all, fumes will come from the opening or the vent. Okay, and we can predict that yes, on certain time that can erupt, but that is also very much quick. So volcanism at hotspots, so takes place when columns of molten magma in the mantle rise from the hot spot of the earth's surface. It melts the crustal plate directly above it. Why it melts? Because the temperature is much more higher. These columns of magma are found in fixed location, deep within the mantle. Means it's not that volcanoes can erupt each and every places. No, there is a volcano hotspot where volcano can takes place. Okay, this is called hotspot volcanoes. In India, we have barren islands in Andaman Nicobar. That is a volcano. Okay. Now let's talk about different parts of volcano. So as I was talking about vent, lava, magma, so let's discuss those things. So what do you mean by vent? The opening or the hole through which magma comes out to the surface is called vent. And what is cone? The layer of volcanic material that builds up around the vent to form a cone-shaped structure is called cone. And pipe, we can say that it is a passageway, it is a path which joins the vent to the crater. Okay, that means different cracks, we can say different cracks. And craters, what are craters? The top of the pipe through which magma is forced onto the earth's surface is called crater. Okay, we will be looking at the structure also in our next slide. And lava, the magma which is forced onto the earth's surface is called lava. That means the things that come out from the vent is termed as lava. Magma chamber, the activity in the earth crust below the vent that holds magma. That means where the magma is stored, that part is called magma chamber. Okay, so let's figure. Okay, so there is a vent here. Okay, crater or vent. Then we have a secondary vent, magma chamber is there, and as I already told that before explosion, some ash or gases will also come out through the openings, crater or the vent. Okay, so we have a part of a volcano here. Then we will move towards its risk and benefits. So we have both risk of volcano and benefits of volcanoes. So what are its risks? So falling rocks, volcanic bombs and projectile ashes and cylinders at the time of eruption. That means those ashes or those volcanic eruption can affect the environment due to excess amount of carbon dioxide. Okay, then we have hot lava from volcanoes flood down the slopes at high speed, destroying homes, damaging infrastructure, killing people, and even killing, if it is in a forest area, it can damage the vegetation, it can damage the wildlife, or even it can cause forest fire also. Air pollution due to enormous amount of poisonous gases which gets ejected during an eruption, and that can't be controlled. Another is a landslide also can occur. Okay, that means a part of the land get destroyed due to the excess heat and the shaking of the earth. But we have some benefits also. As for example, fertile soils from weathering volcanic rocks keeps the cultivation of food crops to feed the people. That means after weathering, after many years, after hundred of years or thousand of years, what will happen? Those rocks, the volcanic rocks, okay, they act as a fertilizers. Then geothermal energy, okay, that means as we all know that we get the energy from the earth also, and that is called geothermal energy, where heat is generated. Okay, then we have various minerals, precious minerals like gold and silver can be obtained from that part of the volcanoes when it is cooled down after so many years. Then a scenic site of volcanoes may attract tourists to the area, that means far away, because it is very rare to see the volcano. So many people, they spend a million of rupees to see that, see the scene, okay, see the site. So this was all about risk and benefits for volcanoes.